Hi, I'm Valeria, and welcome to Roundabout LA, a show that brings to you your community up close and personal by featuring such segments as Roundabout Town, Hollywood Spotlight, A Moment in Black History, and the Talent Showcase. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
And soul of Southern California. Classic Soul on KGFJ 1230 AM stereo. Classic Soul on Southern California radio. KGFJ 1230 AM stereo.
Hello there, I'm Walter Jenkins and welcome again to more of Roundabout LA. We're on location here tonight at Marla's Memory Lane, and I have the lovely lady here with me herself. Marla, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's really nice seeing you.
It's nice seeing you too.
You know, there's one question I've got to ask you, and I know you've been asked this question a number of times. You do so many things. You have a hit TV series, and you perform, you're a singer, you're a business lady. How do you find time to do all of these things?
Well, child, it's not me, it's the Lord. All the work is done from within, if you know what I mean. But then, too, I'm a Gemini, so the Lord knows He got to give me 5 or 6 things to do.
You got to be busy.
Yeah.
In other words, you enjoy being busy all the time.
I do.
You know, I can remember when you first got into this business. I remember I was writing a lot of magazine stories at that time, and I did a couple of stories on you when you were in the Jefferson. And at that time, did you imagine that you would ever achieve the kind of success that you've achieved in this business?
No, I didn't, and it's hard to realize what kind of a success I've achieved in this business since I don't have no money. But 15 years in the business, I hadn't thought about it. You know, one year just kind of runs out into another one, and you're just busy doing what you do. I still haven't done any film. 5 months out of the year, I'm still off from work, except what I generate myself, which is here, and going around the community. So you never think of it in terms of being a so-called big hit. You think of it as having a continuing job, which is all right too. Not complaining, just explaining.
Just explain. You know, the series that you're in now, this series actually evolved from a stage production, is that correct?
Yes, a play that was written by Christine Houston out of Chicago. Of course, I was born and reared in Chicago too, so Christine's neighborhood was just like my neighborhood. So I understood the people very well, although those are not the people you see on TV.
I'm aware of that. But actually, when I think you did the play, I saw the play, and you did the play. What ingredients in this particular play was it that allowed you to believe that you could make a successful series out of it?
Well, anytime you have a group of people who bring something different to the production, like in the Jeffersons, for example, you had George and Weezy. George was the American dream, a man who had made it in business without benefit of formal education. Weezy, his wife, didn't have very much education either. She had been a worker, and when her husband started making money, it allowed her to stay home and then start doing the volunteer work. So you got a chance to see what people could do with their time. And then there were the Willises, there was an interracial marriage, and they had a child. You got an opportunity to see how an interracial marriage differed or did not differ from the normal marriage, and their children. got a chance to see what was happening on the high school scene, and then the college scene, and then the first marriage, and then the first child, and the grandchildren. So you had a whole spectrum. Then you had Ned Wertimer, who was the doorman. You got a chance to look at the person who works for tips. And then you had me, the perennial employee, who was the maid, and I represented all the people who just had jobs and had somebody over them telling them what to do, fairly sometimes, and unfairly a lot of times. And so I talked back for all those people. So my character became very popular because I represented so many people who wanted to tell somebody off.
And I think I remember once you telling me that the character you drew from many characters that you had known in the past.
Yeah, basically my grandmother, my aunt, and all the church folks. Churches are full of Florences. People in the neighborhoods. Everybody kind of recognizes Florence. She tells you what to do, whether you're her child or not.
Well, you know, in the series that you're doing now, you have a lot of strong characters in there.
Yeah, so then again, I have the same kind of thing in this. I have Helen Martin, who plays Pearl. She's the perennial senior citizen who says what's on her mind and really doesn't care what you think about it. She's at an age where she feels like she ought to have the privilege of saying what she feels.
Whatever she wants, nothing's done about it.
Right. And you have my husband Lester, who is just a step out of being just an I should say an employee. He is now trying to form his own business. He does subcontracts and hopefully one day wants to be a contractor himself, but meantime he takes side contracts from contractors. And so he has his own little business and striving to do better. We still don't have enough money to own our own house, so we live in this apartment building and save money for our daughter to have college, but we do all right. Myself, I'm a housewife, and he's made enough money for me to be able to stay home and take care of the kid. So then I can do volunteer stuff at school, like a lot of parents. And then we have the daughter, and she's a teenager now, and the boy downstairs, Pearl's grandson. So you have the relationship of the grandmother who raises the child. You have the relationship of the family intact, the father and mother together, and what's happening with them. You have the single parent downstairs, although she lost her child. She went back to New York and they've never mentioned her again. And the public hasn't bothered to ask about her. And when they don't do that, we lose people. So Tiffany is gone, so Rose is now just a single person. You don't see her functioning as a single parent. We have the bachelorette, which is Sandra, so we get a chance to see what the single girl does. You know, she's hopping around trying to see how she can make the best deal before she gets into a marriage. So you got, there again, you have a whole entourage of people to deal with so it doesn't get boring.
So actually when you did the production, you could see all of this coming together like that.
Yeah, we had even more in the play. We had the blind man who lived next door who could accurately throw something in the garbage can without looking. We had the retarded kid down the street, and we had my daughter and my best friend's daughter. Who were friends, and the little stuff that they try to get away when we were at home. Boys were coming in the hallway getting kisses and somebody looking out and all those things that go on in neighborhoods. But it was set in the 50s during a time when blacks weren't allowed to do a lot of things and didn't have the opportunities that they have now, even though you wouldn't believe it with everybody laying on the street. You couldn't put it on, I wouldn't have put that production on except as a movie of the week, because it kind of aired out our dirty linen, you know, and nobody wants that on television. It exists, but basically since we don't have many choices of what we want to represent us, we really don't want to do that because people at large get a tendency of thinking that's what's happening. The guy's a gambler who's not working and he comes home and try to sneak the money out of the wife's dress, and all that's cute and funny on TV, but it doesn't represent us as a race.
Quite true.
So I didn't want to put that on.
Apparently you've got good writers. How much do the cast contribute to these?
A great deal. They don't like to give us credit all the time, but a great deal. We're coming up with suggestions. They're coming up with suggestions. If I say something is derogatory, it's not debatable. You can't talk to me about it because I said it was derogatory, so that's not debatable. Because you don't understand what's derogatory to my race, and I do. If we don't think it's funny, then it's our obligation to make suggestions about something we think might be funny, or they go back to the drawing board and try to come up with something else. Sometimes I may rewrite something and say, I want to do this, and they say, well, let us try one more time to come up with something. Sometimes they come up with something better. So, but that's their job. And so in essence, what we try to do is take some of the pressure off their writers rather than say you can't write, because we're always saying black people can't write, I mean white people can't write for black people, but they are. They always have been. And sometimes we're raving and it's their material we're raving about. And sometimes it hasn't been touched by us, you know. So what you want to do is try to make them as aware of what they should be writing for you, because in the long run it has repercussions. And in the interim, try to get more black writers on. So in the first couple of years, I made a deal with them that I had to have as many black writers as I had white writers. So they stretched the budget because they had already hired most of theirs, and I said, well, I'm sorry. So they stretched it, and I had 6 black writers and 6 white writers, which is more writers than anybody ever has.
It's 12, yeah.
Right. And the burden on them was to come up with some productions, you know.
You know, let's talk briefly about your workshop. Now, you have an acting workshop. How did this come about?
The acting workshop also came out of Horace Tapscott's UGMA Foundation. UGMA was designed to start a cultural center, but they never really got past the music. Now, they did have dance and some acting for a while, but we never could get into the workshops. So when we split with UGMA wanted to do more music, then we decided to start the acting workshop. And we saw it sort of evolved now, and we hope to get back into having the music workshops too.
And the acting workshop, do you teach young adults or kids?
We were teaching from 4 years up, but we decided that the attention span for most 4-year-olds is not what it should be, and it kind of holds the others back. So we decided to move it up to 6. So it's from 6 to whatever the last number is. You can crawl in there, you can get in the workshop.
So at this point, how's it going? Very well?
Very well. We've had some hits. We did, of course, 227, which ran about 6 months, and we sold the television. And everybody in the world came down to the community to see the play, which is one thing we want to do. We want to attract other cultures into our community so that we can have an exchange with them. Because they're always playing host to us, and we're going over to their communities and paying to see their things, and we want to also be hosts and let them come over to our community.
You know, I bet there was a lot of people told you that it will not work if you keep it over in the community. You got to cook it out here.
Constantly. The same way with us here. You know, it's been 7 years now for Crossroads and Marla's Memory Lane. And we're getting closer to the black now, because you really have to get into the business of it, but also the promotion, and come up with things to draw people to this side of town.
Well, Marla, I certainly want to thank you for being my guest. It's been a real pleasure.
Okay, let me say also that we have the meeting coming up again this year at Crossroads Arts Academy. The meeting is a play we did last year and took to New York. It's the meeting between Malcolm X and
right.
And Martin Luther King. So we're going to do that play again. It's very successful, and SCLC is kind of sponsoring that this year for Martin's birthday. It's a mythical meeting of the two different sides and how they saw it.
Right.
It's a wonderful play. We also did Checkmates, and that came out of the community. Right. We ended up taking it to Westwood, and it's on Broadway now. So our aim is to take things and start them in the community and then move them to the larger spectrum to show all the valuable talent that we have in the community.
Well, Marla, I must say you're doing a wonderful job. And, of course, thank you for being my guest again, and the best of luck.
Thank you. And while you're at it, tell your audience to look for our Choice Awards that we're going to be featuring.
Tell them, Marla.
We're going to be featuring the homeless in March. We do our fashion show, a fashion and musical production, giving you the history of some great black person that little-known facts about, and also a fashion show, and all the money that's raised goes to a needy organization. This year is the homeless, so join us.
Isn't that wonderful? And incidentally, it's a wonderful affair at GA, you guys. It turns out to be a great affair.
Yeah, it's a celebrity fashion show, so we get all the people from the different television shows to come, as well as the local talent.
Yeah, I've attended them. They're wonderful. On deck tonight, we're here at the Marla's Memory Lane, and of course on deck tonight we have the Blues Sisters. And Marla, before we go to the stage to see these marvelous women, tell us a little about them.
Okay, what you're about to hear is something fantastic. I met them one at a time, really about 3 of them. Karen Briggs on violin, I kept hearing about her. She came in on Tuesday night, and everybody said, oh, you should have heard this girl that was in here. And then Lois McMorris, of course, was playing guitar on Reveille's night with another band, all male. And she was fantastic on guitar. And I said, wouldn't it be nice if I had a whole group of girls? I said, there's a lot of musicians around, you know, Clara and Vi Red. And I already knew Nedra was on bass, stand-up bass, and she had been in with a couple of the male band. So I asked each one individually would they like to work in an all-girls band, and they said it was their dream. So I started hooking them up, and they went out and found the drummer, and the pianist was Larry Gale's wife, whom he must have been talking to me about, and I forgot. And so we ended up with Rose Gales on piano, and everybody went mad over them the first time they heard them. They got together, no rehearsal, but then musicians do that all the time. You call up a side man, he pops in. So, but people don't think of women as being able to do that. And what I want them to know is there are many women musicians, and how fantastic they are. We kind of consider it a phenomenon when you hear one on one instrument. But then when you get them together, they don't think that women can come together and work together that way and stay together for a long time.
So actually, this was the start of something big.
Yes, and everybody's clamoring for them.
Okay, we're not going to take your word, Marla. We're going to go to the stage and see for ourselves.
Do that,
Let's
and you
go.
will love it.
All right.
go.
Hello there, I'm Walter Jenkins, and welcome again to more of Roundabout LA. We're on location here at Marla's Memory Lane, and I have the ladies that's appearing here now. The name of the group is the Blues Sisters. Aren't they beautiful? Now, the cameraman, you should pan all these beautiful women because I said they're beautiful. Be sure that you get them all. Now, to introduce all these lovely ladies, Rose, Gail, would you please introduce these lovely ladies for me?
Okay, starting on my
I'm about
right.
to melt over here with all this beauty around me. Jesus Christ.
Starting on my right, we have our violinist, Miss Karen Briggs. Karen.
Isn't she lovely?
Our drummer,
Isn't she lovely?
Jeanette Raitt. Our guitarist, Lois Lady Mac. And the newest member of our group, our percussionist, is Elmira. Our bassist, Miss Nedra Wheeler. And the vocalist, Talita Long. The Blues Sisters. The Blues Sisters.
You know, girls, you're appearing here at Marla's Memory Lane here, and I've heard you perform, and you're really terrific.
Thank you.
And first of all, I'd like for you, well, since Rose, since you have the mic here and you're doing all the talking, I'd like for you to tell us a little about the group and some of the things they have been doing and some of the things they plan to do. I know they plan to turn out a lot of beautiful music because they certainly have talent to do that. So maybe you can shed a little light on some of the things that we're not aware of about the group.
Well, basically, this is Marla's project that she put together, all-female blues
This
group.
is one of her discoveries, huh?
This is one of Marla Gibbs'
She
discoveries.
discovered beautiful things.
And
Love that.
right now we are in the process of getting the group tight so that we can go on to better things.
Since you're all such talented ladies, have you formed like a comradeship of like sisters, or how do you guys get along as a group of ladies here? Great?
We get along beautifully.
Like a little family, huh?
Yeah. We get to talk about all that girly stuff.
Oh, yes. Oh, I see.
Talk about that music stuff.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I certainly appreciate you being my guest, and I want to wish you the best of luck. And of course, we're going to go back out here on stage and watch you perform again, and I'm going to get excited again. So if you see me over in the corner somewhere overexcited, please overlook me. Because you guys are so talented.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
By all means.
Anytime.
Thank you again, and thank you out there for being with us. And please be with us again next week when we take you on another journey around the big city of LA. Bye-bye now.
You want a big boss man, huh? Sorry. This is close as we can get. This is the watermelon man. Call him the cantaloupe man if you want. The boss if you want. Thank you. At this time, we're going to bring up our gorgeous vocalist again. Let's have a round of applause and warm welcome for Miss Talita Long.